If you're always trying to get somewhere, you're always going to be trying to get somewhere because you're keeping that pattern alive. You're always going to be chasing. You're always going to be taking action uncertainly. The idea is you want to understand that the power lies within you and there's nowhere for you to go unless you know that you want to go somewhere. Like if you know beyond the shadow of a doubt that there's something that you absolutely want to do, then that means the universe is impulsing you to do it. You're excited about it. It feels right. You just know it's the next step. But if you don't know what to do, then the part of you that's trying to figure it out, the part of you that wants answers, isn't actually you. It's the part of you that is running from yourself, the true self. It's the part of you that's escaping your highest potential. It's the part of you that is afraid to sit in your own power. If you want to become more magnetic, you have to generate more energy. How do you do that? You stop looking for a way out of what you're in. You accept that this is your situation. You don't have to fight your situation. You have to accept that this is where you are, okay? And you sit in that feeling. It's very uncomfortable. A transformation is never easy. It feels like a caterpillar turning into a butterfly. You feel like you're turning into goo. You literally feel that. You feel like you're dying inside. But that's because what's really dying is the part of you that was always running and chasing. That was never you. That was the you that was conditioned by this world. Okay? You were programmed by this world to be neurotic. It's neurosis. Oh, nothing's happening in my life. I have to try to make something happen. That's not you. That's a thought that you're believing to be true. So you're still plugged in to the collective neurosis in this world. Most people are neurotic. So at some point you say, if I'm doing that, if I'm always stepping outside of myself, if I'm always looking for answers, I will always be doing that. Do I want to live my life that way the rest of my life? No, it's predictable. It's like, you're going to do this, and die. It's very predictable. But if you want to flip the game, you have to understand that it's always been you. You were the weaker magnet getting pulled in by the world. You become the stronger magnet and the world gets pulled into you. That's power. You're not interested in playing that game anymore because you're realizing I am powerful beyond measure. And so what? You have a year that's boring. It doesn't have to be boring. You can constantly stepping up your game. Be stepping up your game. You can constantly work on reading books, on going on nice walks to get connected to yourself. So for every moment that you stay in that energy, that's really uncomfortable for most people because most people are running from themselves. For every moment that you stay connected to your energy, you are transforming yourself. You're allowing something greater than yourself to happen. And that thing is a different reality. It's a different life. It's an intelligent reality that doesn't need you to chase anymore because it knows what you're serving. It knows what you stand for. It knows that you're not interested in hurrying and feeling pressured and playing in all of that neurosis. It knows that about you because you actually have to earn that. You have to earn that. It's not handed to you on a silver platter. You have to prove that you can become best friends with you. You have to prove that every time you have a thought that tells you your life isn't going the way you need it, go look for something. You have to trust that that's not you. You have to anchor yourself in. You have to strengthen that anchor. And eventually what happens is all the power you used to give away to things outside of yourself, okay, which is another way of saying you were a weak magnet because you had given your power to everything and everyone, so you were always getting pulled into those magnets. Now you're able to be that magnet. All that power returns to you. It returns to you. And now you understand there's nothing for you to do if there's nothing for you to do. And that's a good thing, because it means that this energy that's working inside of you needs you to stay connected to it. It wants you to power up. It wants you to amplify your energy, because it's always been you. It's always been you. It's just that you were convinced by the world that you were a different you. You study the thing you don't want to study. Do the thing you don't want to do. So it's like you split off. The part of you that split off isn't you. It isn't. You could say it's the traumatized you. It's the you that was influenced by the world, created a split, like a tree, like a branch. And you've been living as this branch your whole life. But what you really are is the tree, right? And what's the strongest part of a tree? The roots. So you're rooting yourself, you're strengthening the anchor, you're strengthening the roots by not taking the bait anymore. By deciding I'm not going to continue to plug in to the mad world that everyone calls normal. Because if I do that, I'm always going to be doing that. I'm always going to be spinning in circles in my mind. I'm always going to be overthinking. I'm always going to think that there's something wrong with me. There is nothing wrong with you. What's wrong with you is that you think there's something wrong with you. That's what's wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. You have to start listening to your body. I want to take a nap, you take a nap. Okay? There's nothing for me to do today, so there's nothing for me to do today. What can I do to enjoy myself? I can read a book. I can get smarter. I can go on a walk. I can meditate. I can do things that allow me to be in this energy of this new world, this new reality, this new operating system that is intelligent. It's extremely intelligent. It does everything for you. Why? Because you proved yourself. You earned it. But getting there is not easy at all. You have to decide to disengage from everything that is maddening in your mind. Everything that causes you doubt and fear and guilt and shame. You've got to unplug from that world completely. And you've got to remember that it's always been you. It's always been you. Always. And so as you continue to strengthen those roots by practicing patience, by practicing trust, by enjoying your day, even if it's super boring, you become the magnet. Why? Because all the power you gave away comes back to you. Wow. And what you used to believe, you don't believe anymore. That's the world that betrayed you. And you understand that you're creating your own world by staying right here, by steeping, like a tea bag, steeping in your truth, steeping in what feels right for you, and staying there. Most people don't stay there. They do it for one day and that's over. That's not going to work, okay? So remember, there's two operating systems. There's two worlds. One that's neurotic, that's always going to make you think there's something wrong with you, pulling you out of your center, and one where you are the center. You've always been the center. You've always been the center, and then it's about working with yourself, not with the world, working with yourself to keep connecting. And as you keep connecting, everything comes to you. You don't even care about the physical world anymore. That's just a lie. It betrayed you. You're not interested in that. You're interested in your internal world, right? I'm saying it's not easy to access that world, but once you do, you're taken care of. You have to prove yourself, because that world is not going to accept someone who's neurotic. That world is not going to accept someone who lives in fear. That world is not going to let you in. It's not going to allow infiltration. It's not going to allow you to filter in like, hey, I belong here, but you're not doing the work. You have to do the work. You have to prove yourself.